right, everyone. Well, we forgot to end our last video to let you know we got back from Wyoming. So, hey, we got back from Wyoming. It was a good trip. Just a short one over the long weekend. We practiced social distancing, did our part, and we just actually are leaving getting pedicures done. Wore our masks the whole time we were there, so we're doing our part. So, we are on our way to pick up lunch. Now, if you have a Culver's in your area, you're very blessed. Anyways, I don't know all the places Culver's is. They're kind of scattered all over the country. But we get, and what they're really known for is their custard, which is better than ice cream.
So we've heard.
Yeah.
From many years ago.
Yeah. We don't get that. We had to quit. I'm not even opposed to having an occasional ice cream. My problem is that I'm allergic to cow's milk, and it has a little bit of a problem with my stomach. And the second problem is, even without that, I don't know how to stop eating things. I had somebody ask me once, can't you do things in moderation? I don't even know what moderation means.
What is this of which you speak?
Yes, I mean, it sounds like a great concept, but in practicality, it doesn't work. Because one Oreo is not enough and the whole package is too much, but I think a serving size of Oreos is the whole package. So we go to Culver's and they have this bacon, cranberry, blue cheese salad, something like that. And we get it without blue cheese because we don't eat cheese, and I can't stand blue cheese, and I don't think Sandy likes it either.
No.
Can't stand it, but it comes with, you can choose your dressing. We get it with a raspberry vinaigrette. Oh, boy howdy, is it a good salad. So we're going to try and remember to take a picture of it when we get home and post it. And one other little tip we want to give you is that in all this pandemic and us searching for ways to stay stocked up, and may I just throw in right now that the flavor of the day for Culver's frozen custard is it Snicker?
Yeah, Snicker.
Snicker swirl. I mean, come on, people.
So Snicker candy bar chunked up inside of a vanilla frozen custard.
Throw some hot fudge in there or just chocolate sauce. I'd eat it with that, but you know, you might as well spice it up even more. Okay, so the flavor of the day is Snicker swirl. I can't with them. I want to with them, but I can't. So this is where we're at. But we actually just ordered our salads, so we paused for a minute. And we're waiting for those, so we're going to try really hard with our very old memories to remember to take a picture of them when we get home. But the other thing with this pandemic, we were looking for alternatives for milk. And we use nut milk, but the liquid nut milk is only going to last so long. You can't get a year's supply of nut milk and have it stay good. They have a longer shelf life than dairy milk or cow's milk, as far as you usually can have nut milk for 2 months. I think the expiration date is 2 or 3 months down the road, but that still is done. So we started doing a search, and we found this milk called Joy, J-O-I, and it comes in cashew and almond formulas. And you mix it, and it makes some milk, and it has a shelf life of a year to a year and a half when it's just in its container. So we haven't tried it yet to make the milk, but we use it in our smoothies every day. Sandy just actually uses it in the concentrated form and puts a tablespoon in?
A tablespoon of the Joy cashew milk, and then a cup of water, and it makes a full cup of milk. And it's wonderful.
So that's an option, and we'll try to remember to take a picture of that and put it at the end too. So there's an option if you're a nut milk fan, J-O-I milk, and it's concentrated. It lasts in the cupboard for a year to a year and a half, depending on which one you buy. So that's a way to store milk for those of you who don't do dairy. I know there's instant milk, there's an unfat freeze-dried milk, and we had all those until we both realized we're allergic to milk and it causes us problems. So we changed to the nut milks, and now we have found this alternative, and we've been using it in our smoothies, and it's been great. So there you go, another tip. Hi everyone. Well, we're going to share something. We went to a class this week, and I have to tell you, it was actually one class of about, I think it's 15 classes. So I'm not an expert at this, but we thought the information we received was really good. And so I'm going to have to refer to my notes, so I apologize for that. But it was really good on talking about just helping mental health. This woman, we live in this tiny community, and here we have this woman who, she has 2 doctorates, and she actually travels all over the world doing these seminars. So she is doing them for free in our community, just for whomever chooses to come. And so we decided to go check it out, and it was actually really, really good. We had missed several of the previous ones, so I can't give you a lot of background, and I made notes at this one, but this has really impacted us. It's just talking about positive words and positive thoughts, and I'm not sure what her doctorates are in, but I think she has a lot to do with working with mental health and early development and maybe family relationships. It seems like that's where her focus is. And she just talked about how the way you think can affect your brain. You can actually change the neurons in your brain by positive thoughts. She said that you can actually heal, her words, not mine, so because this could be controversial, but you could actually heal anxiety and depression by changing the way you think. And somebody asked about Alzheimer's, and she says that is a disease that eats the brain, so that's a little different. But for people suffering with anxiety or other issues, panic disorders and things like that, just the way you approach the day, the way you think can change the neurons in your brain. And she says you create new neurons until you die. They used to think that neurons died somewhere between 35 and 50 years old, but that's not true. She says you create new neurons every day until you die, and so you have impact on that. You can control the neurons you are creating and how they are affecting the way you spend your time, the way you think, the way you structure your day. So she wanted to concentrate on positive thoughts. So that's the part we were at. Is it powerful, productive, positive? Those are your 3 P's. So are your thoughts powerful, productive, and positive? If they're not productive, they're not helping things get better, and that might help people struggling with anxiety, because that's when I don't have anxiety so much, but when I start to feel anxious is when I start to worry about things I have no control over. Well, what if this happens? Or what if the car breaks down? What if we run out of money? Well, I have no control over things like that. So is it powerful, productive, and positive? You have to concentrate on those 3 P's. Are my thoughts helping things get better or worse, is what she asked us. And she says you really need to take emotion out of the equation. And she talked about a 5-second light switch. Take a deep belly breath. Give yourself 5 seconds to work through a situation before you react. And take the emotion out of the equation and put the emotion on the shelf. And go to logic. That was what she said. You need to find the logical part of the solution and just go to, how do we fix this? So, for instance, we kind of already function this way. I didn't know this was all part of a class, but when my mom had the accident that led to her death, she actually fell and broke her neck. And so one of the conversations we had on the way to the hospital, because it was a shock to us when we got the call, and she was dead on impact, but they revived her and she got put into a trauma center, and it was in our area. So we went to meet the Flight for Life helicopter bringing her in. And that was a conversation I remember we had in the car, is that we just need to concentrate on talking with the doctors. There's nothing we can do. We can't heal her. Asking why it happened doesn't matter at this point. It's already happened. If only didn't matter. And we're just going to go meet with the doctor, and we're going to find out where we go from here. And we're going to take it one day at a time. She may not survive, but we're going to work at this as if she will. And that was our thought process. And it really saved me. One day at a time, we will deal with what we can deal with. And what we can't deal with is up to God. And that's pretty much how we approached it. This lady also says that ages 0 through 8 is a developmental age, which everyone I think knows that. But she says that's where you teach them. You can teach them these principles. And the one thing she says, you teach them, I'm the boss of my brain. All the outside stuff doesn't control me. I'm the boss of my brain. And even though we're not 0 to 8, I'm assuming maybe some of you are, I don't know, but we can still work on that. I'm the boss of my brain. Nobody else can tell me how to feel or what to do. But for the younger ones, you can start training them now by telling them that I'm the boss of my brain. So she says you can't complain about things and then expect things to get better. That was another thing. You can't complain and then expect it and say things are bad and then expect things to be good. You're just not going to look at it that way. And she also said the one way to remember those 3 P's, powerful, positive, and productive, is by changing your routine. For instance, if you're right-handed and you brush your teeth with your right hand, use your left hand, because she says doing something different actually disrupts your brain and will remind you of those things like the 3 P's, so that instead of going into some mundane thoughts that you have, maybe you're thinking about your schedule while you're brushing your teeth, if you use your left hand, just do, even if it's shoes, turn your shoes around backwards in your closet, because that reminds you, oh, 3 P's, 3 P's, 3 P's. Anything to disrupt what your normal routine is. Also ask yourself, is it an obstacle or opportunity? What I'm thinking, what I'm dealing with. If it's an obstacle, you either can't deal with it at all. I mean, it's such a big obstacle, you're never going to get through it. Or you're going to have to find a way to either eliminate the obstacle or go around it, which becomes an opportunity. It's an opportunity to think outside the box and do something different. And those are the kinds of the ways you go in and approach different things. And she says changing the way we think and respond can heal us neurologically. So for that reason alone, it's a good way to, or maybe something to try and give a go. So Sandy and I now, every morning since we went to this class, and I don't know that we're overly negative. I would say more of a realist. I'm kind of pragmatic. I just deal with life as it is. I really am not that emotional. I don't respond emotionally a lot of times. Not that I can't get a good, Hallmark commercial at Christmas time can't make me get teary-eyed or something, but I'm just really pragmatic. I just deal with this situation as it is. Okay, this is what we're up against. This is what we're going to do, because that's all I have. I'm not really one who responds with a lot of emotion. So Sandy and I, though, decided that we would start practicing more positivity. And so every day we say to each other, first thing we see each other after I get out of the shower and she's doing breakfast, and we say, it is a beautiful day that the two of us, whether together or alone or individually, can do anything with the help of God. We are not powerless. So anyways, that's just our thoughts today, and thought we'd share that with you because it really was a good class, and it was about 45 minutes. It was a lot of interaction, people sharing their weeks, and of course we hadn't been to the other classes, so we didn't have a lot to share. But keep in mind that everybody sees everything differently. I've said this to other people, but you can have we're in a small community, but everybody here has different opinions of what the community looks like. I've heard some people will say, I think everybody loves the community, but some people will think somebody else might not be friendly or something like that. Personally, I've never seen it. I love everybody here. I think we're in a great community, but it's all about your perception. What do you see about people? I think most people have something to offer. You just have to get past all the idiosyncrasies, and for the most part, people's idiosyncrasies make me laugh because I have them too. We just love each other and go on and be positive about everything, and it really is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful world. There's a lot of chaos, but that doesn't mean there's not any beauty in it. Your family, if you have food on the table, whatever, you have a job. If you don't, hopefully you're getting some money from another source, but concentrate on the good. Otherwise, this place would start to get really depressing. So with that,